Welcome to the interactive Body Balance radio show for health and fitness tips.
Welcome back to Interactive Body Balance Radio. I'm your host, Mike Dasick, and thank you guys so much for joining our show today from around the world where we talk health, fitness, nutrition, functional medicine, and personal development. This show is getting out 3 days after our last one. We're getting back on track. I think we're going to do these shows every Monday and Thursday, right? So we're going to try and get them out twice a week to give you the latest information of issues that are bugging you, concerns that you can't find a solution for. So today's one on bloating and what's going on with my bloating and why do I bloat is going to give you some inside information. Again, I do these podcasts if I get 3, 4, 5, 6 questions a week on this and people are lost. So walk some clients through some of these concerns this week where, you know, they were still getting some bloating. They've tried different foods. They've tried different protocols and stuff. So even, you know, one of the clients put them on a fast and they were fasting for, I think they did 36-hour fast. After the fast, the bloating obviously was gone away. Energy levels were up. They felt great. And they're like, how does that happen? And because they thought they were eating the right foods for them, right? If I got vegetarians, vegans, every type. But, you know, even though I thought they were eating right, the fast kind of cleaned it up. But then we got into more deeper details based on lab work, right? So I'm going to summarize it into one category today. It's usually multiple categories, right? And we do some testing to find out why and what's going on with the actual the microbes in your gut. But I've talked about this before, something called SIBO. I've been discussing it for 6-7 years. This isn't new, but if you're new to the show, maybe new to you. And again, this question came up from prospective clients many times this week, so I'll explain it. SIBO is called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Okay, it's kind of categorized as an increased number of and/or an abnormal type of bacteria in the small intestine. As you see on lab work, bacteria is normally found in the large intestine, and with SIBO, these bacteria simply move on up. Right, and they colonize in the small intestine. So as you know, large intestine, just after the fact, when stuff goes through the small intestine, and we won't go through the digestive tract, but just think it goes up to the small intestine. It should typically have a very limited number of bacteria, but when you have SIBO, there's more. Because this bacteria is supposed to be in large intestine, they are mostly species that ferment carbohydrates into hydrogen gas, so it's H2 or archaea, not technically a bacteria, but to produce methane gas. So you can check for both of these on the test. Both types usually result in the bloating I talked about or the distension. SIBO sufferers also can be divided into 3 categories like diarrhea dominant, constipation dominant, or variations between the two. And I have had patients do and have all of those symptoms. So I've seen it before. Okay, so how do you test? I'm going to go through a couple of ways I can tell if you have SIBO, right? So if you have issues with this bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. First test is a breath test. It measures levels of hydrogen, methane gas in your breath. There's the lactulose and glucose tests. We have clients all over the world. So why I'm saying this, folks, is we can give you different tests in Australia, in US, in Canada, in the UK. There's different ways to just think breath test for SIBO. Non-invasive, you can get it, pretty good. After you gotta prepare for it, right? You prepare for this certain test, couple of days. It'll give you information in the collection sample, and then you just do the lactulose solution and take the breath samples. I'm not going to get into this here. Bottom line is just SIBO breath test. I have all the details here because I've run this through many clients, but you can do that way. And then it just looks at your levels. So if gas levels are above a certain number for a certain time period, test can indicate a positive result. Then you use that and you go through, different ways of having a practitioner guide you through it. Another client reached out to me this week and I looked at a couple of things. She goes, do you think I have it? I looked at her GI maps results and 2 kind of key areas, but one is Bacillus spp, common group of gram-positive bacteria in the Firmicutes phylum. Some strains are used as probiotics. High levels of that, bacteria, so that, very proactive bacteria can result from digestive function, SIBO, or constipation. So I looked at this person's lab and said, do they have high amounts of Bacillus? And they did. Second one is Staphylococcus, SPP. Staphylococcus, another bacteria in the Firmicutes phylum. High levels may result in reduced digestive capacity, inflammation, etc. However, again, when you look at some of these areas, could lead to SIBO, even like Streptococcus SPP. So these are just different types of bacteria, okay? Gram-positive bacteria, when I see some of these high levels in their stool, could have issues with SIBO. So looking at some of these bacteria, I can say, do you have these issues? Couple of things. Now I know I love this team. You guys are amazing. I'm just giving you examples of when your bacteria is in the small intestine or you have the wrong types of those bacteria in you, right? It can cause these issues and you're not even aware of it, right? That's why we do it. I call them opportunistic bacteria, right? So these opportunistic bacteria, it's always good to know, do you have them? Are they causing some of your issues? Because you could be doing all the right things, but you are out of balance and you have an imbalance in your microbiome and you may not even know it. As I said, this amazing team is so awesome where they say, okay, fix me now, Mike. How do we fix this? What do we do? What's our approach? Different approaches. I've got many mentors who give us lots of approaches, and I'll get into that after. But one of the things that's important, again, I'll get into different types of diets after, is you got to reduce the symptoms caused by that bacterial overgrowth, right? Fermentable carbohydrates. This means there's certain types of carbs that many people eat that can cause the level of bloating, the gas, the diarrhea, constipation, whatever. It could be starches, grains, beans, high starchy vegetables, resistant starch, whole grains, seeds, legumes, soluble fiber. There's those grains again, beans, nuts, sugar, of course, fruits, dairy sweeteners, and even prebiotics have caused issues for people with SIBO, right? Beans, vegetables, roots, herbs, you get it, even supplements. So what would I say? If you have this, you think you have this, you've been tested and you have it, proteins and fats are your friend. At this stage, they should help and make up a large part of your diet to limit those SIBO symptoms, right? I've talked about, you guys know proteins and fats, but, just think even the lean turkeys, the lean meats, right? Chicken, avocados. This is all stuff I love, omega-3s. I have some almonds, right? Some butters. So it's like just fats and good proteins. I could list you 10 proteins, 10 fats. I do it all day long, but I'm just trying to make this show. Just Google quality proteins, quality healthy fats, omega-3s, omega-9s, some omega-6s, right? Some omega-6s, as you know, are not good for you. They're kind of split. So you can look that up, right? Then, as I said before, the SCD diet, the low FODMAP diet, there's paleo/low FODMAP. They've been proven to be helpful. I've used them before with clients. They treat SIBO symptoms. And again, as I said, the low FODMAP just stands for fermentables, polysaccharides like fructans and galcans, disaccharides, we're on the D part, milk, sugar, lactose, monosaccharides, that's the fructose and polyols, sugars, alcohols, the mannitols, the xylitols, the maltosols. So that's FODMAP. Fermentables, polysaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. Okay? You want to go on a low FODMAP diet. It's been helpful. Okay? Again, always speak to your practitioner. I'm just giving you general and generic advice over the internet because I've worked with patients on this successfully. We've helped them control these issues. All right? And again, just Google SCD as well too. Very helpful. These things will make a big difference in your symptoms, right? Another thing too, as I already said, methane and hydrogen gas, two different forms of SIBO. I've kind of already talked about that. But when you get on a good diet, it can help both. There's no doubt. And another thing you want to do is reduce that inflammation, right? So other things to reduce inflammation in your gut is very helpful. Again, I mentioned the foods already. There's some information here that I'll give you, and I'll cite the source for you as well too. They're saying aim for 70% cooked, 30% raw foods. Cooking vegetables and fruit lowers the fiber and resistant starch content, making them less likely. Get the fruit ripe. So these are some tips. I'll give you the source after. Great. Limit snacking between meals. So 4 to 5 hours to let your body migrate that motor complex, the MMC. It moves the bacteria and foods from the small down to the large intestine. And then remove other food sources, as I said, alcohol, caffeine, artificial sweeteners. They can compromise the healing. And again, certain stages, but even some fermented foods in the early stages aren't very helpful. That is from Bella Lindman. The last part, great. So I always give good sources. There's so many people, right? Dr. Ruscio, there are lots of good people on this that have been very helpful. But those are some tips that can really help you guys with this issue. You want to, get rid of the bloating. You want to have a flat stomach, or even, as a couple girls said this week, and guys too, right? Abs, see their abs again, right? You want that, and you're eating well, but you just don't know what it is. This could be one of the issues, right? I always say, test your gut, folks. Test your gut. Test. Data matters. I have data all over it's funny. I'm wearing a watch with data. I have a ring that gives me data. I obviously take, my stool and hormones and blood work. Lots of data is great. So the more you know, the more you can pinpoint, and the more you can fix it. Hope you found this helpful. Maybe you have these issues and you're like, wow, I just don't know why. Why is my stomach getting big for no reason? I'm eating great, Mike. This could be one of them. It could just be you have too much of an imbalance within the bacteria in your gut. Some of it's migrated northward to the small intestine, and you need to balance that back out. There are foods that can do it, as I've said. There are supplements can do it. There are lifestyle issues that you need to address. All of these can help, but symptoms in your gut are not normal. Okay? And there you go. Any questions on this, please reach out. As I said, always reach out to your primary care physician, whoever's treating you. I'm just the guy who gives tips that maybe opens up your eyes and gives you new information that could help you along. Right? This is what we do we're here to help people. And we get deep. We're qualified to run the testing. We're qualified to analyze it. I speak to practitioners and doctors every single day, and I learn every day. It's all I want you guys to do is keep learning as well too. Our website, MikeDaciuk.com, MikeDaciuk.com. We're all over the internet: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Just look us up. We're here to help. Right? InteractiveBodyBalance.com as well. Get emails at info@MikeDaciuk.com every single day. We're blessed. We take them and we help along. This is what we do, team. So I hope, it's very helpful for you guys too. The book, Transformation from Within, it's free. Go to the website and download it for free. It doesn't cost you a penny. How to Restore Your Health, you can get it for a couple dollars, I think. You can get the first 2 or 3 chapters for free online. Recommend you do that. I said before, and just before I leave the show, and this is like a team thing, that's how I learned. I did my university, the conventional way. Did 4 years university as well. In Toronto, it was amazing. Loved it. Then I went and took more courses in college after university. And then I took more programs. I took another 2-year program. And then functional medicine programs. Graduated from them, the Canadian School of Naturopathic Practitioners. Did that as well too. One, I learned through podcasts. When I drove around from client to client and corporations, I do a lot of corporate work. I love my corporate work. Speaking of, the biggest companies in the world, that's my passion. When I drove around from site to site or flew, we were flying all the time, I'd listen to these podcasts. This is how I learned. I could give you a dozen mentors off the top of my head. People pick my brain all the time when I do individual coach calls. Who's your mentors? Who's great, Mike? I give them, right? So many good people, so many good podcasts out there. I love the Huberman podcast. I love Dr. Hyman. There's so many conventional guys out there. Lane Norton, right? I have PhDs that are on our staff that are super smart. There's dozens, right? So many good shows where you can learn from, right? Great. So, gave you that. Now, what I finish the show with every time? And I'm going to do these Mondays and Thursdays. I put that on my calendar. I really did. Because it takes a lot of work. You got to prep for these, folks. You got to get all the data points. You got to, you put them all into notes. I have 3 to 4 pages of notes for every show, literally. And then you curate that and give it to the audience. But I know it's effective because people have been asking for them. So that's why I do them. And I don't take on sponsors right now. So this is all just for you guys. I say to my kids every day, and they're, we got to go to meetings today for the kids, and hockey tonight, and hockey Friday, and hockey Saturday, and hockey Sunday, and of course horses all in there, right? Horse clinics and everything. So my kids are our world, right? One, you got to work hard. I hate laziness. I really do. You got to work hard. I don't like entitled kids or entitled people. You have to put in the effort. You have to work. Number 2, right? You have to add value. So each one is unique. Every one of you has a different skill set, and you have to add that to the world. Share it with the world. You're put on this world to share your skill sets with the world, or you wouldn't have those skill sets. You wouldn't need them. And number 3, you have to help other people. Go to Rated Pull Chairs, open doors, give your time, volunteer. Charity is great. We do all that. Every single one of those things I mentioned, we do. Every day. Not every year. Every day. In order for smile and have some fun. As I said on the Monday's podcast, this one that I said is going to air on the 30th of March, 2023. Have some fun. Enjoy life. Live life. Go out there and make it happen. All right, live with passion, live with purpose, live with intent. I hope you like this show. Share it as far and wide as you can. The more people we can touch, the more people we can help, the better. And again, I say this, we do this because we want to help you, and we're not asking for a thing in return. We don't want money. We don't want dime. We don't want anything. I have people want to reach out, like I said, to give and do lots of things for sponsorships. And right now, we don't do that. We do this for you. All right, team. As I always say, and I'll say it again, live with passion, live with purpose, live with intent. And one of my favorite lines is go out and make it happen.